the Python, the Free Code Camp Python certification in 100-ish days. Once we're done with today, we are about 20% done, 1/5 of the way through this content. And so I think we're pretty far ahead here, but then we're getting these certification projects. So today we'll cover this medical data validator. And then on day 21, build a user configuration manager. So we will jump into that project and go through it. As I've said before, you can go through the review and do the quizzes as you want. I don't want to spend a lot of time going through this stuff. It's big. This basically has all the main concepts for this section in it, and then there's a quiz over it. Ultimately, you have certification project 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then your exam or what are important for getting your certification here. The quizzes are just going to help you pass that exam and test your knowledge of the content. Also, don't want to be failing a bunch of stuff on here. So, just kidding. So what is? Let's see. Let's build a medical data validator. Ooh, this is a long one. We might end up breaking this one into 2 parts. So we may do like the first 24 steps here or something. Most of these have had about 20 to 25 steps, I think. So I don't want the videos to be too long. So we may break this day 21, day 20, day 21. It'll probably work out pretty good. And then we'll start 22 in certification manager, start a new week with this project, and possibly spend the entire week on it. Depends. So let's get into this. This workshop will validate a set of medical data to ensure it complies with a set of rules. Declare the variable name medical records and assign it an empty list. That's easy. We know how to do that. Step 2. As you learned in previous steps, a dictionary is a data structure that holds key value pairs, where keys are immutable data types such as strings and unique within a dictionary. Here's our person, name, age. Medical records list will store dictionaries, each of them representing a patient. Add a dictionary with a key patient ID and a value of the string key 1001 to the medical records list. So this dictionary, and it was mentioned in the dictionary section, you don't have to assign it to a variable. This dictionary is not going to have a variable name assigned to it. We're going to be able to identify the patients by this patient ID, which is not what I saved. Copied. Patient ID. And then the value of the patient ID is the string P1001. So there's our first patient. Add the age key with the value 34. Okay, remember we have to have a comma. Age 34. And the key gender with the value of the string female. Female. There's male, like you get in your little box, and there's female. So there we go. Complete the dictionary by adding the following 3 key value pairs: diagnosis, hypertension, medications, lisinopril, That's a list of medications. So Sinopril and last. Oh, needs to be a string. Visit ID and the string value V2301. Okay. Go raise the error before he something up something. There we go. This is something to pay attention to. It says there's missing a colon, and I looked through here, went no colons. Next assumption is I'm missing a comma because this thing's gets confused. Once you missed one, it could be a comma or a colon. So past that, following the same structure you used in the previous steps for medical records, list has been filled up for you with other patients' data. Feel free to take a look at it. Next, you'll start to write the function to validate the data set. Create a function called validate with a single parameter data. If you want to ensure that your data is either a list or a tuple, therefore within the validate function, declare a variable named is sequence. And assign it a call is instance. Pass data and a tuple containing list and tuple. It doesn't say to return anything yet, so there we go. Create an if statement for its condition. Use the not operator. If not, operator to negate is sequence is so we're going to look here. This is going to return a Boolean. So if it is a list or a tuple, this will be true. And so print invalid format and return false. So basically, if this is a list, it'll be true. And so this will make it false. And if it's, let's say, a string, this will be false, and we'll flip it to true, invert it to true, and print the string and return false. Because return is not a word. There we go. All right. Step 7. Right after your if statement, declare a variable named is valid. Is valid. And set it to false. We're just going to assume the data is not valid. Later on, you'll use it as a flag to run a conditional statement. Well, is valid is outside my function somehow. Thoroughly confused by what's going on here. There is invalid. Oh, I'm so dumb. Attention to detail. There we go. As you learned in previous lesson, the enumerate function allows you to keep track of the index while looping over an iterable. So there's our example code. Create a for loop that iterates over the data. Use the enumerate function to get both the index and the item in the data at each iteration. Use index and dictionary as the iterable variables. So for index and dictionary in data, I'll enumerate data. For now, we just put pass in here. All right, step 9. You are checking if the data passed to your function is a list or a tuple. You'll need to ensure that each item in the sequence is a dictionary. Inside the for loop, if the item in dictionary is not an instance of dict, print invalid format. Expected a dictionary at position index, where index should be replaced by the current index, and set is invalid to true. So for loop, if the item in the dictionary is not an instance of dictionary, so if dictionary is for dictionary, item in dictionary, if item is instance item dict. So if it's not a dictionary, print. And then we need to make this a formatted string, and we can place this here. Oh, I've gone too far. Oh, I forgot to set is valid equals true. There we go. After your for loop, still inside the validate function, create an if statement. If is invalid is true, return false. Right, got that one right the first time. After the if statement, printing the string valid format, then return true. So basically, if it's not invalid, we just print, hey, this is valid. And return true. There you go. At the bottom of your code, call the validate function with medical records as the argument. You should see valid format put it in the terminal. So valid format. Okay, to test the first if statement in your function, turn medical records into a string. You should see invalid. So if we just put that did not work. Why did it not work? Make it a multi-line string. There we go. Invalid format. Expected lister tuple. You got a string. Change it back. That was kind of a waste of a couple of steps. To test the second conditional statement, add 2 items of your choice that are not dictionaries at the end of the medical records list. You should see 2 validation messages printed to the terminal. So after this item, we're going to put in cheese, which is one of my favorite bogus things to use, and 42, which is the answer to all things. So there we go. Replaced it with spam. Spam and 42. Well, we got the 42 right. Now you tested the validation of this part. Remove the last 2 items from medical records. How dare you remove my cheese? As you learned in a previous lesson, a set is an unordered collection of unique elements. You're going to use a set to ensure that each dictionary does not contain extra or misspelled keys. Inside the validate function, use the set constructor to create a set from the following list of keys that each dictionary should have. Assign the set to the variable named keys. Set. Keys set equals set. And then we provided the list. There we go. Step 18, keys method returns a view object containing all the keys from a dictionary. So there's our example code. Inside your for loop, after the first if statement, create an if statement that runs when the set of keys from the current dictionary is different from the key set. This is to ensure that no missing or invalid keys are present in the dictionary. Within the new if statement, after your for loop, if I feel like I don't know what I'm doing here. So within the if statement, print invalid format. Where I think this needs, yeah. There we go. Da, da, da. I doubt. Could be wrong. Dictionary has no attribute keys. Invalid format or valid format. I don't think that worked. If statement should run when set. Oh, forgot the index. Oh, I saw that in there and then I overlooked it. You should set is valid to true. Is it valid to true in your. See, this is what tests are about. Finally, step 19. To test that everything is working correctly, try to comment out the age key from the first dictionary in the medical record. There we go. And so invalid format, patient ID, gender at position 0 has missing or invalid keys. Very good. Step 20. Now restore the line. I feel like these are sort of wasted. It should be restore the line and carry on with the next thing. Good. The server can now be found. I was a little scared there for a second. Now you're going to make the validation more granular. Create a function named find invalid records to find invalid values in a dictionary. Give it the following parameters. Okay. Define find invalid records. All these amazing parameters. Inside the new function, create an empty dictionary named constraints. And then return constraints. All right, the double star operator can be used to unpack the elements in a dictionary and pass them as keyword arguments in a function call. So sum ABC, return A plus B plus C, nums. Okay, treats it as tuples. At the bottom of your code, print the result of calling the find invalid records function. For its arguments, use the double star operator to unpack medical records 0. So find invalid records. And then we're going to unpack medical records 0, which is the first dictionary. Oh, we should print it. Print. All right. Step 23. Constraints dictionary will contain each key you should expect to have in a data to validate. The value associated with each of them will indicate the result of the validation. Add the key patient ID to the constraints dictionary. ID. For its value, use a call to isInstance, passing in patient ID as instance. Patient ID string. All right. This is going to be the last step I do on this one. This is a pretty long thing here, so we're going to break this into 2 days. We have plenty of time. So, like I said, we're on day 20 of 100. So we're just about to get to the first project, and it's really going to be a lot of project stuff after this. So I think we have plenty of time to get through this. As you wrote in the previous step, patient ID should be a string. You want to check that it is also a specific pattern, though. For that, you're going to use a regular expression. Therefore, at the top of your code, use import keyword to import regular expression module. Perfect. We will learn more about regular expressions when we return. All right. That's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow for day 21 of the Free Code Camp Python certification in 100-ish days, where we will finish the Build a Medical Data Validator. See you then.